Ready? Okay. Welcome back. It is now 5:40. We're coming back from closed session. Item E, reconvene to open session. We are now back in open session. F, announcement of actions taken in closed session. There were no actions taken in closed session. Item G, presentation. G1, instructional hybrid learning models. Mr. Gonzalez? Or?
Good evening, trustees. So we have a presentation on an instructional hybrid learning model. So we'd like to present to the board our current hybrid model and recommendation to the board to move from a 25 to a 50% hybrid model. And Ms. Ramirez will be giving that presentation.
Okay, good evening, board. As we're preparing for our 50% model, we wanted to share with you what the 50% model would look like. These models were already included in the MOU that we had agreed with our ACT union membership. So currently the 25% model, the way it looks is we divided our students whose parents agreed to send their students in person. Who wanted to send their students in person, and the groups were divided in cohorts. So for example, if a teacher had a class of 20 students, the groups were divided in groups of 4. So in case that all students wanted to return in person, then we would have a group A of 5 students, a group B of 5 students, a group C of 5 students, and a group D of 5 students. As students were returning applications or the survey saying that they were going to be attending, we noticed that we had a lot more students wanting to continue, or parents to continue with distance learning with their children. So we noticed that we were probably having, for a teacher of 20, maybe only 6 wanted to return in person, the rest wanted to continue with distance learning. So instead of putting 2 students for every day or 1 student in a day, they decided to put, for example, on Mondays and Tuesdays, my group A and B is where we're going to host the students for the 25%. And then for the teachers, Wednesday and Thursday, if they didn't have a cohort coming in physically, then they would continue distance learning with those students that did not want to come in person. So that's how we began this process with the 25% model. So now that the groups have been established, if we go to the bottom of the page, the next page. So here we see the 50% model. The schedules are exactly the same. So the time spans and the minutes, everything's exactly the same. The only difference is that now we're going to be bringing 2 groups together. So for example, the sample that we have provided here was that now, if you look at the light blue, Mondays and Wednesdays are light blue, we would put together 2 groups, for example, group A and group B. And so these students get to come to campus twice, on Monday and on Wednesday. And then when they're not there, the other days they're doing distance learning. Then the darker blue shows the other 2 groups, which was group C and D. Some of the discussions that we had with our teachers, and then principals, and then we discussed with our ACT president, was the option of converting this to, instead of an AB, to do an AC. And the reason was precisely because of the change that happened when we noticed that not a lot of students were returning. So for example, if we had students that were put in on Mondays and Tuesdays, but there was none on Wednesdays and Thursdays, then we would have the majority of the students coming in Mondays and Tuesdays. So what we did is we decided to put the A's with the C's and the B's with the D's to balance it off. So just to show you an example, we're going to put up a slide of the numbers. The one that I asked you, the one that has the green, that one. Go to the second chart. So for example, let's say that we're monitoring attendance for every week for those students that come physically in person. So I want you to look at, for example, let's look at Jefferson. If we look at Jefferson, if we now have all kinder through 6 coming in, and these were our final numbers. My group A has 30 students in Jefferson. My group B has 66 students. My group C has 32, and my group D has 22. So The 30 from Monday and the 32 from Wednesday are now going to be coming both Monday and Wednesday. And the 66 from Tuesday and the 22 from Thursday will be coming Tuesdays and Thursdays. If you look at other numbers like Blanche Charles, let's say, has less students wanting to come in person. So if we had kept the AB, you would have seen that we would have put together 38 students and 49 students, and then 15 and 0, and that's why we requested to do an AC option, so that now we could have the 38 with the 15 on Mondays and Wednesdays, and then the 49 and the 0 for Tuesdays and Thursdays, and kind of balance them off. So schedules don't change, minutes don't change. All we're changing is students being on campus more days, 2 days instead of just 1. If we look at the high school schedule, the high school, the junior high, and Aurora are very similar. So the high school schedule, on the very top, you can see the 25% model. Oh, you could put the 7th and 8th, because it's very similar. I think they added it later. That one. Okay, so the 25% model for the secondaries. Because the secondaries has 6 periods, we decided to do like a block schedule. So on the very top, you see that students come in for period 1 on Monday, then they come for period 2, period 3, then they're dismissed, and the rest of the day they do distance learning. Then on Tuesday, the same students, A, come and they complete period 4, period 5, and period 6. So it takes 2 days for them to complete their cycle. Then the following days, Wednesday and Thursday, you see the students now in group B doing the same cycle. They go to periods 1, 2, 3, and then Thursday they do periods 4, 5, 6. We still haven't seen group C, and we haven't seen group D, so they go to the next week, and you have periods 1, 2, 3, 1 day, 4, 5, 6, second day to complete the cycles for group C, and then the same for Wednesday and Thursday to do group D. So it takes them 2 weeks. Once we transition to the 50% model, so if you can take me to the next page. Nothing has changed in the schedule, okay? Students are still going to see 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5, and 6. The difference is now they're going to be able to come and complete their cycle in 1 week, because for them to do 25, it took them 2 weeks. Now for 50% model, it's going to take them 1 week. So we're going to put together, again, AB was a sample, but after looking at our numbers, we're going to be putting together groups A and C will be doing the first 2 days, and then group C and B and D will be doing the Wednesday, Thursday. And the reasoning behind why they also recommended this is because, if you recall, A and B were on week 1, and C and D were in week 2. So the principals were saying, well, C's and D's are going, or C's are used to going on Mondays, D's are used to going on Wednesdays, Thursdays. So if we put them together, it's going to feel the same. Your A and your C's are still going to be going on Mondays, and your B and D, I confuse them, but the alternate, they're going to be going the next day. So it won't be a mix-up. So we shared that with ACT, and they were in agreement. So let's go back to the numbers so you see how our numbers are looking. So we go to the very top, go to week 1, to the very top. This is the estimated numbers that we had the first week when we brought in the staggered grades. So I believe this one we had our first and second graders at the elementary and the preschoolers. And then for the junior highs, we had the 8th graders. And for Aurora, we had the 9th graders. We hadn't started with the high school yet, the first week. So you don't see the high school up there. So we had 513 students the first week. The second week, we included the next grade level for the elementaries. And then, stay there, right? Yeah, right there. And then the junior high still had the 8th graders because we skipped a week to make sure that they were setting up. And then Aurora, I believe they added the 11th graders, and then the high school added the 9th graders and the seniors. So our numbers, week 2, were 1,040. The following week after that, our third week, most of our students were back at the elementary with the exception of Kennedy Gardens, because if you recall, Kennedy Gardens was closed, so they were barely starting during this week. And so now you see that the junior highs now added both the 7th and 8th, so they've added all the students for 7th and 8th. Aurora added another grade level, and the high school added another grade level. So by the week of April 26, is there another total? Well, I don't have the total of all of them. Oh, there, it's right there. 1,875 students. And then we did include the county students who are not on our rosters, but yet they're coming and using our facilities. So we had 11 students there, and 21 students, and 10 of our preschool. So the next week, which is this week, we're May 3rd. So our principals are currently beginning to fill out those dates. So you see we have some missing, but you kind of have an idea. I think for right now, the only numbers that we're adding compared to last week are the numbers from Kennedy Gardens, because like this week we're completing their second staggered grade, and then next week on Monday we finish with all of the grade levels at Kennedy Gardens. High school is also adding students this week, but the junior highs are already set. So our numbers are going to be predicting around 2,400, 2,500 students by the time we have all our students back. The next thing I want to share with you is the one that has all the schools and the start dates. The worksheet. You come back to the agenda and I'll tell you which one it is. The proposed 50% start dates. So we've been meeting with our principals. Our classrooms are set up for 50%. So we've been working since the summer, setting them up for 50%. Our desks, our barriers, everything's up. So we just wanted to give principals an opportunity to explain to us when they would like to start, so they have enough time to work with schedules, because what they have to do is inform parents of students who are coming in person, letting them know that instead of coming in at the elementary one day a week, they're now going to be coming twice a week. So the proposed dates, after having conversations with the sites, is elementaries would like to start on May 17. Junior high sites would like to start on May 17. CHS would like to start May 17. And Aurora would like to start Monday, May 10th. Aurora is our smallest campus. They have about only 150 students. And Mr. Monroe did share that his schedule's are ready and he's ready to start. Most of his students are seniors and juniors, so they came in right away, and he only had 2 10th graders, so he says, I'm set, I'm ready, and we're ready to start on Monday. So that's what the proposal is for our 50% model. Any questions?
Thank you for the report.
Thank you, Lisa. Most of the schools were reporting back, the ones that I visited, that 50% of the parents were.
Yes, about that amount. And some schools have more, like Jefferson is higher in person compared to other schools that are not coming as many students as we expected. We noticed right away that they said that a school said that they had 30 responses that they wanted the students to come in person. When the date actually came, they lost, out of those 30, they probably lost a half of the students. The parents say, nah, never mind, I'm still not ready. When we transition from the 25 to the 50% model, it's not that we're bringing all the students, it's only those that had already agreed to do in person. Those are the same students we're bringing in. So that's how we maintain the 50%. If there's a family and they say, you know what, I couldn't make adjustments for 25 because of daycare, but I can do 2 days a week, then on a case-by-case basis, they're gonna be reporting to the principal. It says, hey, do you still have room? I changed my mind. Now with 2 days, I do want to send my child. And so they're going to be communicating with the principals. And the principals said that they still have spaces everywhere to add students, especially the high school. The high school, we had classes with only 1 or 2 students in the class.
Elisa, I wanted to ask you, in regards to the dual attendance on the 4th day, it showed 0 students on there, on the dual slide.
Can you go back? Was it the second week?
The first, the second.
Yeah, so when we started, remember I said that we started with first and second. So it could have been, go to the very first week. It could have been that it was BC, no? Bland Charles? Dual and Bland Charles. So if you look at many sites, they had 0 on Bland Charles had 0, Dual had 0, KG was closed for the beginning. Rockwood, what happened was, since we were only targeting first and second, and you had few kids coming in, they put them in groups A, B, and some in C. So you didn't have enough for D. What the principals did is when we had the kinders and the TKs coming, they put them in groups C and D so that they would balance the numbers. So not all students were put in A and B because they tried to balance them off. It might have been that at that time they still didn't have enough, and Dual decided to put all their students in A, B, and C. So each principal was accommodating the students. Mhm. And if you look at Jefferson's number on the top, go to top. Jefferson is the school that has the most response for in-person. Those are the families that of all our schools, they wanted their students in there. So I guess she said she has several classes, maybe like, she said 3 or 4 classes that are already at 50% because that's the number of parents that wanted their children to come
It
in.
was Jefferson and Blanche Charles, correct? Blanche Charles had a high number also as well?
Blanche Charles had it at the beginning, and then, so, well, you see they had
Yeah.
even 77 on Thursday. I don't see the number for Wednesday. I don't know if she just forgot to put it, but we're trying to remind our principals to update these numbers so that we know exactly how many are coming every cohort. Uh-huh.
Thank you, Lisa. Any questions? So that was G1, instructional hybrid learning models. Item H, discussion. H1, Calexico High School seniors for the last 2 weeks of school on campus. And I'm the one that brought this to your for discussion. Other districts, and I don't remember locally, I don't remember what districts are doing this, but I know in other counties, what they're doing is the last 2 weeks, they have the seniors go quote unquote full time, 100%. So I was wondering if we would entertain this model as well, to give our seniors at least the possibility to spend 2 weeks of what should have been a whole year as seniors. Of course, this is assuming that everything goes well from now until the end of May, with regards of health and other issues at the high school. I don't know how you guys feel about that.
Is this gonna be a volunteer if they wanna come in?
Yes,
or-
no, we cannot force anybody to show up 100%, so this would just be a volunteer program. If we say yes, then at that point, we will leave it up to administration to work with the high school and see if it's feasible. Also, keep in mind that this is assuming everything goes well from now until the end of May.
So you wanna come back 100% then?
Well, for the seniors only. And
Yeah,
only-
but is there an agreement with the ACT that has to be entered upon?
Well, that's what I'm saying. At that point, the administration and the high school, they will have to work this out. But I was wondering if that's something that you guys would like to entertain, or if not, we can just leave it as is and just do 50% for everybody, including seniors.
I would just say leave it as is.
Yeah, I think we should bring it back to the next meeting for May 14th to discuss it maybe, again, but for right now, because I have some other questions in regards to it also as well. Looking at it, how's that gonna impact the high school with the 50% model with the students on there? If it's gonna be a big impact, and that's one of those things that I'm seeing,
Okay.
just logistics wise.
Yeah, so logistically, it's difficult because you have classes that have seniors mixed with juniors and sophomores. Freshmen are at a different site, logistically. The other thing is, we're talking about if all decided to come, 800 students, and we might not have the space to accommodate the distancing between desks, because we still have the requirement to have we're staying with 6 feet, although 5 feet and even 4 feet might be allowable, but even with 4 feet, we couldn't accommodate all 34 desks if they were all seniors in one class.
Yeah.
I think we discussed it with Ms. Williams, and I think she met with her team, and she says, you know what, it's something that more than likely we cannot accommodate, predicting that they all want to return. If we wanted to follow a 100% model for seniors, for those who are already in person, possibly we can accommodate them because we have very few students coming in. But if it was open to everybody, I don't think it's going to, we'll be able to accommodate. I know that Ms. Williams has had other ideas of doing celebrations for our seniors. I don't know if you want to share, Carlos, her plan.
Can I say something here? It is a great plan. However, for the first time, these seniors are gonna have a graduation.
Mhm.
And if we have an outbreak, that graduation is just gonna go into the.
That's
like
a
the
very good
last-
point.
Last
That's a very-
year's graduation.
Excellent
So-
point.
That's a
So
very good
I
point.
would rather not even entertain this because this is the last celebration we have for them, and to jeopardize it because we got an outbreak, I think it's
Yeah.
careless on our
Yeah,
behalf.
it's a great
Yeah, I
point.
support Lencho on that.
Yeah, that's right. I don't wanna jinx it. As it is,
Yeah.
we're gonna be cutting it close when it comes to graduation, so, you know what? No, thank you. I mean, not thank you, but thank you for bringing it up for me, but you know what? Like, Mr. Calderon said, may not be the best of ideas. I mean, the idea is good, but, something happens, then, we shatter the dreams of our
Yeah.
graduation, so no.
Mhm.
Thank you anyways. Thank you for bringing this up. Okay, so that was H. Item I, action items, consideration and actual approval of the following items.
I move we approve.
H1, instructional hybrid learning model, changes time on campus. I1, is there a motion to approve?
I made the motion.
Mr. Romero, made the motion. Mr. Calderon Jr., seconded. No more questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 4-0. Item I2, item I2, resolution proclaiming Day of the Teacher on May 12, 2021.
Second.
There's a motion by Mr. Calderon. There's a second by Mr. Alvarado. This is a resolution. Roll call. Mr.
Yes.
Mr. Romero, yes. Mr. Alvarado?
Yes.
Mr. Calderon Jr.?
Yes.
And Mr. Calderon, myself, yes. Motion passes 4-0. I3, certificated employment report. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion by Mr. Alvarado, Mr. Romero, second by Mr. Alvarado. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes 4-0. Item J, adjournment. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Calderon Jr., second by Mr. Alvarado. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye, motion passes 4-0. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for accompanying us on this special board meeting. This meeting is not over. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.